Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Hopefully, everybody is having an awesome Tuesday morning. Is it Tuesday? I don't know what day it is, man. This time of the year, I get a little out of the way. Yeah, Tuesday, November the 4th. All right. So hopefully, everybody's having an awesome day, staying warm out there. Got a little chill rolling through the South. I know the same thing's happening up in Green Bay. Pretty soon, we're going to have to switch the background to the snowy background, man. I'm excited about it. So, again, appreciate everybody joining us this morning. I see the chat, man. You guys are on fire already. Filled up. We already got a super chat. Look at this. Look at this. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your morning here on these random streams. And obviously today we're going to talk about a free agent that's available on the market. He is officially healthy, right? Obviously, we're talking about Asante Samuel Jr. We'll dive into would it make sense for the Packers to sign him? He's been linked to the Packers a little bit. There's been reports before, and Easton Butler put a tweet out. I'm not sure if he was linking him to him this time or just simply referring to the Nate Hobbs injury, which we're going to give you some information on that as well. I actually show you the play that I believe the injury occurred on, so we can kind of get an idea of what happened there as well. Before we do, if you guys would, let's do that YouTube stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So make sure you click subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Let's just jump into the chat real quick before we dive into the topic at hand here. We got Boz in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Says morning, y'all. Appreciate you swinging through. Mike Berry, good morning, Boz, and everyone else. We got Elijah Gwynn in the house. Let's see. We got Mike Berry, like we said in here. We got a super chat. We'll get that in just a second. B. Timmy, what's up, man? Trade deadline day. That's right, man. Are they going to make a move? Kind of feeling like probably not, but we've tried to cover all of the potential options. Now, watch us. Everything we covered, just why I don't like talking trades, to be honest with you. Everything we covered, nothing will come to fruition, and a random one will come out of left field, right? That's how it always works. So we got Caldwell Corner. Good to see you, buddy. We got him in here. So Turtles, good morning, buddy. Andy Watkins. So Turtles just says America. I can get behind that. Let's go, man. Let's go. J. Cole says we need to do something at corner. I want a defensive tackle. So a couple different needs he's identifying there in his opinion. We got I think this is Joseph, man. Everybody's names always constantly change, but appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Tim Rogers, love the streams. Work time in London. Awesome, Tim. Appreciate you tuning in from London over there across the pond. Our good friends over there. And let's see here. DASINF13 says, how does a guy like Asante Samuel Jr. end up a free agent this late into the season? Was he just not extended after he got injured? Yeah, it sounded like one of those just bad situations for him where everything kind of, the stars kind of aligned. Maybe they cut him loose too, right? Maybe the injury happened. They come up with an injury settlement. They just move on because it was a serious injury, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Jake Hazard, 6481 with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Says, Clayton, thank you for being so level-headed. Oh, no. Is this sarcastic? I should read these before. Oh, okay. All right. I was waiting for the hook here. He says, Clayton, thank you for being so level-headed. I truly appreciate how you acknowledge the team's shortcomings while identifying the reasoning behind it. Hey, thank you, man. That's a great compliment. Yeah, listen, hopefully everybody knows I wasn't happy with that game the other day, right? None of us, you find me a Packer fan that says, hey, I'm okay with the way that game finished. Probably not a very educated Packer fan, right? But I mean, the reality is, guys, at some point we got to grasp the idea that this happens every single week in the league. And, you know, I was pretty down myself, like, man, really wanted this one. Mainly because I like hanging out with you guys on Victory Mondays. They're absolutely awesome. And we try to not make everybody depressed after a loss. There's plenty of podcasters that do a good enough job of that out there. Man, they're just insufferable. But I was coming out of that game kind of feeling like once you identify, it's kind of like, you guys ever been behind on your bills? You ever been behind on budgeting or you know, just some finances? And it's like you don't want to create a budget. You're like, man, I don't want to sit down and face it. Oh, my God, it's going to be horrible. when in reality, the best way to handle that situation is just sit down and go over the budget. The second you go through the budget, you feel better because you know where the money's going. You know where you're screwing up, right? Um, a Monday after a loss, it's like the loss immediately sucks. But once you start to dive into the tape and you go, oh, that's why we lost. This play here, that play there, the middle eight, the turnover different, all these, and you soon realize that stuff's fixable. Now, if your team's getting their ass kicked by 30 points, probably not coming away from the game feeling like that. But someone put a tweet out, and this was my point. We'll get to the topic at hand. Someone put a tweet out on X, and it was like the Packers, their two losses this year came from a combined total points of a total of 6 points. And I was like, wow. And here I was kind of getting down a little bit, right? So what I would say to those folks that are just doom and gloom and when the team loses, they're all over social media or in some cases on their YouTube channel with way bigger a following than I will ever understand. I seen people bashing the idea of putting Brandon McManus out there to kick, right? And you guys know, I feel like you should go to Havrisik now. You should, something, whether McManus is fully healthy or not, we won't truly know. We're not in the practices. Not even the media members are allowed to watch him kick in practice, right? So with that being said, if we don't truly know how bad the injury is, if he is completely healthy and they put him out there, he's obviously in his own head. Now, that doesn't mean cut him loose, right? That doesn't mean cut him loose, but maybe just flip the road. You know what? You're not ready yet. Whether you tell us you are or not, you're not ready yet. Let's give Havrisik another go. Guys, Havrisik may go out there and crap the bed. But the point I want to make is when I see podcasters the Monday after talking about how do you put Brandon McManus out there kicking? How do you do that? When you got the best one I heard was you have a franchise record kicker on the bench. It's like, okay, so he kicked one kick and broke the franchise record for distance, and that now makes him more talented, more qualified because that one long kick. And yes, is he 10 for 10 or whatever the numbers is? Absolutely. But shouldn't we, am I wrong, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Shouldn't we take a look at the entire body of work before we come up with this whole, oh yeah, just cut Brandon McManus loose now, right? The reason I bring that up is if you're one of those podcasters that are saying that stuff, show me the tape during the week where you had that take. You understand what I'm saying? Like, show me the tape during the week where you said we should do this, this, and this. Don't give me that Monday morning quarterback where you're coming in going, I can't believe they did this when you didn't say a damn thing about it all week long. You understand what I mean? And maybe they did and I missed it. But I just about put my money on the people that are complaining about these specific things. Boy, they didn't see it coming during the week, right? So I have a problem with that stuff. But anyway, Jake, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Sorry I spent so much time on that. I know you guys are here to hear about the Asante Samuel Jr. Free agency and whether or not we want to or should sign him, right? So let's just dive into it. Again, I just said, are the Packers interested in Asante Samuel Jr.? So Ian Rappaport put a tweet out, I think it was yesterday. Chargers free agent cornerback Asante Samuel, who had a spinal fusion procedure this offseason, was fully cleared to return to the NFL by respected doctors David Okonkwo, I hope I'm saying it right, and Nick Theodore in a letter agent Trevon Smith, or Trayvon Smith, however you say it, presented to NFL teams. Samuel becomes a top free agent and fascinating addition. So some people were going, don't sign him because of the injury. Don't sign him because of the injury. Obviously, I don't see a team going out there and giving a whole bunch of guaranteed money. Now, that will become the mini bidding war, right? It's the team that gives him the most guaranteed money is probably where he's going to sign. So you want to kind of throw the average annual value out the window unless he's truly, truly confident this thing's fixed. I will say, you have two different doctors clearing you to go on the field after a spinal fusion. I imagine he's good to go, right? So just wanted to point that out there. In terms of the injury, I'm not so concerned about the injury. Obviously for his sake, he should be concerned, and I think he is, and they're probably making an educated decision on whether he should return. But from a team standpoint, it's all about the guaranteed money. It's a cold, hard business, right? If you go out and you sign him to a 4-year deal with, let's say it's a 4-year deal worth, trying to give a number here. Let's say 4 years, 40 million, but only 7 million of it's guaranteed. It's essentially a 1 year, $7 million deal. See what I'm saying? So, and then you've got him under contract and you can renegotiate and guarantee more money as you go along and prove that he's healthy. Things like that can be done, obviously. So, with that being said, let's move it along here. So, Easton Butler put a tweet out and it said, the Asante Samuel Jr. odds just became better. This was at 625 yesterday. Now, I was trying to put it together, and I didn't want to bother Easton. We've been DMing back and forth, but I don't want to ask him questions every day and just blow his DMs up. But I was going to ask him, do you have inside information that makes you think, hey, they're really, really interested in Asante Samuel Jr. right now? I know they were before, just like many other teams were. But I also wonder if that was the news coming out about Nate Hobbs, which we'll cover here in a second. Meaning now you got to kind of be interested, right? But let's talk about how Asante Samuel Jr. played when he was healthy here. Okay. So obviously he was drafted in 2021. His rookie year, 693 snaps, 56.4. His second year in the league, 971 snaps, a 63.6. Third year in the league, guys, he played 1,111 snaps, and he had a 73.9 PFF grade. So what you're seeing is rookie year, 56, second year, 63, third year, 73. You got an ascending player, looking like a solid football player, right? He was drafted in the second round, pick 47, right? As you can see up here. So now the year he got hurt, he graded out a 59.3, but he only played 234 snaps. So you got to kind of throw that one out the window. So he was an ascending player. You've also got to take into account this is a player that hasn't played football in a while too, right? I mean, last time he played was 2024, I guess toward the beginning of the season, if you will. So he's going to be rusty, and it's all going to come down to money, right? The point I want to make is I'm willing to sign Asante Samuel Jr. for the right price. And you guys know that's always my answer, right? What do you think about signing this player, Clayton? Yeah. If he wants to play on the practice, not Asante Samuel Jr., but I would be willing to sign anybody if they want to go to the practice squad and, we can kind of give them a shot. It's almost like, just like a tryout, that same type of mentality. Yeah, we'll try anybody, right, for the right price. So the same thing with Asante Samuel Jr. here, other than, he's going to have to go on the active roster, obviously, or the 53. So if he's not healthy, you can protect yourself by not giving guaranteed money. However, other teams are going to give guaranteed money. So I would be okay with trying it. The reason being is, guys, he was ascending and he reached 73.9. Look at our PFF grades on the rest of the cornerback room. Carrington Ballantyne, 70.3. Keyshawn Nixon, 64.6. Javon Bullard, 61.9. And Nate Hobbs, a 56.8. Listen, I know the popular thing on social media right now is to pile on to Nate Hobbs. The reason I don't do it is because he came into camp. You guys remember he flashed in camp. We were like, whoa, Nate Hobbs is physical. He's playing. Like, he's looking good. He was picking passes off in training camp and this and that. And then he gets hurt. And then he comes back from the injury, and he's not been fully healthy this entire time. Like, it's constantly been, things have been bothering him the entire time. Now, he plays a very physical style of football. We bashed, not we as in me and you, but there are a portion of the fan base that bashed Jai Alexander for not playing physical after he hurt his shoulder, right? So we don't want a corner that's not physical, and then there's fans raking Nate Hobbs over the coals because he can't stay healthy because he's playing physical, right? And you'll see the play that he gets hurt on here in a minute. He's taking on a 300-pound lineman. So if that ain't being physical, I don't know what is, right? But again, a 56.8, the reason I think for the right price, Asante Samuel Jr. would be a good signing is, you could throw him right in here and let him compete with Keyshawn Nixon if people are so upset about Keyshawn Nixon, right? The same thing, too, is, you're going to keep Javon Bullard on the field. We all agree there. I want Carrington on the field. But let's say that Asante Samuel Jr. is on the team, they sign him, and it's, hey, we're going to ease you into this role. Then give him 10 to 15 snaps a game and see if, all right, this guy still has it. He can do it. And now you've got a three-way competition between Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Ballantyne, and Asante Samuel Jr. To me, that just makes a lot of sense. I want to know what you guys think in the chat on that. Now, in terms of how does Goody value Asante Samuel Jr., it all comes down to what draft grade he had on him. And the fact that they have shown interest in the past and other teams have, I think there's many teams that probably had a first-round grade on him, and the draft order just didn't fall right. You could see here the consensus big board had him in the number 37 spot. He was right behind Greg Newsome, all right? And then right below him at 44 is Eric Stokes out of Georgia, right? So that's a name. That name's a blast from the past for sure. So with that being said, Asante Samuel Jr. had a late first, early second round grade, most likely from Goody. Now, what's Goody willing to give up for him in terms of compensation? That's going to be the big question. So now, if they were to have him in on a visit, they're going to want to get their doctor's hands on him, all the medical reports and everything, and see if it makes sense. I think there's going to be other teams that jump in there as well. Teams like the Eagles, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. The Eagles are trying their best to load up as much as they can right now, right? So there's going to be other teams. I guess the point is it may turn into a bidding war, and I don't think Goody is the type of general manager that's going to outbid other teams for a player that has to prove he can go out there on Sundays and stay healthy. That makes sense. So with that being said, let's shift gears to the Nate Hobbs injury. And let me know in the chat, guys, what you think about Asante Samuel Jr. Just put ASJ would sign or wouldn't sign. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. All right. And the Nate Hobbs injury details. So Easton Butler tweeted this out. This was 14 hours ago. So the fact that that one was 6 hours ago when I screenshotted the tweet, that leads me to believe this is separate. So maybe they are truly interested in Asante Samuel Jr., right? But he said cornerback Nate Hobbs is expected to miss at least the next 2 games with a grade 1 sprain of his MCL per Ryan Wood, okay? Now, what I did was I combed through the tape, and this took some time, and I know you guys are going to think I'm a geek, but it is what it is. I combed through the tape and tried to find the play in which he got injured, okay? And I just put a tweet out, so I just copied and pasted the text that I put in the tweet. The Nate Hobbs injury appears to have happened on this third quarter 8-yard Hubbard run. Not sure if it was the slip or the 300-pound lineman landing on his legs, assuming this was his last snap of the day. Another tough break for a guy who hasn't been fully healthy since training camp. So here we go. We're going to give you guys a quick clip of it. This is what I think was probably the injury to our boy Nate Hobbs. So you'll notice up here, okay, this is Nate Hobbs. And notice the big 300-pound lineman. And I love how he's like, I've got to make sure this corner can't get outside right here. And you can see he's trying to somewhat set the edge. And a couple other guys, listen, it may have been Gary's fault. It may have been, I think that's Enigbare. Maybe Quay got washed out. We'll cover all that. This play makes chalk talk. So we'll dive into who was actually at fault on this play. And this was a 3rd and 3 run is a reason I highlighted. This is a key play. You stop them here, they end up getting a field goal as opposed to a touchdown. Maybe that's the difference in the ball game at the end. But again, watch our boy Nate Hobbs. You're going to notice he tries to get outside leverage to force a running back in towards the defense. That's actually Devontae Wyatt there, right? So he plays it perfect. And this is what I'm talking about, a level of physicality. It'd be real easy to just play patty cake with that lineman. I can promise you this. Jair Alexander is not doing what Nate Hobbs does right here. He's going to play patty cake and backpedal. Oh, I didn't want him to score a touchdown. That's exactly what's going to happen here. So Nate tries to establish outside leverage. You see right here, does a pretty good job taking it on. Now you got White on the backside pursuit, and then you see the slip. Now, did it happen there? I don't know. I doubt it, because watch what happens with the lineman. So, right, he slips. Devontae Wyatt gets his hands on the running back. Now, watch this offensive lineman. So he's indulging in this, right? You know how offensive linemen are. They love their pancake blocks. He's thinking, okay, he's on the ground. This little fella, I'm going to do the old frog splash on him. That's exactly what he does right here. Is it dirty? I don't want to be the podcaster to try to accuse somebody of playing dirty. But watch how he lands on the knee here. Bang. Of course, the play sign just covered it up completely. Let's go back. Watch there, right? And then you see immediately. So I think it's the player landing on Hobbs that does it one more time, and then we'll get it off the screen before we get hit with a copyright. Bang. And then you see it kind of sprains the knee. So, and I know it's popular for fans to jump in and try to say, oh, he's injury prone, and this and that. I'm not going to pile on Nate Hobbs, man. He played that rep the right way. He knew if I don't establish outside leverage, this guy's going to take it to the house. He sacrificed his body against a guy who outweighs him by 100 pounds or more. And obviously that dude landing on his knee like that. I will play the rest of this clip real quick. Notice the offensive lineman look at him too. If it had rolled on to that part kind of pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like Christian Watson tears his knee up. What did Jalen Johnson do? Immediately went down and prayed with him, right? You see a guy holding his leg. This offensive lineman looks down at him and just walks off. I'm like, dang, dude. Okay, all right. So anyway, that being said, that's how the sprain happened. So I just wanted to highlight that, because for the folks out there that are saying Nate Hobbs is soft, he's injury prone, this and that, you've got a player that just sacrificed his body, possibly his season. Luckily, it sounds like it's just a grade 1, so he's just going to be out a couple weeks. I don't care how bad he may or may not be playing, but when you got a player that's got the courage to take on a 300-pound lineman like that, when we've all bitched and moaned about corners not taking on those blocks in the past, I can't get on board with that. Just can't do it, man. So hopefully, like I said, thoughts and prayers to Nate Hobbs that he gets better quick and this doesn't affect his career long term. And I'm still holding out some hope that Nate could be a good player for the Packers. And to the best of my knowledge, guys, I haven't heard anybody else. I listen to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of YouTube shows. I haven't heard anybody else say, that Nate Hobbs has not been fully healthy this entire time. They've just kind of piled on. He's playing bad. He's playing bad. He's playing bad. Right. And part of that is some of the Goody haters. They want to try to paint this picture that Goody don't know how to sign a free agent. Right. Aaron Banks has been banged up too. That's another one. Right. Now, if the argument is Goody whiffed on these free agents because they got guys that can't stay healthy, listen, that's a fair argument. That's a fair complaint. Right. I'm just not going to pile onto a player who's going out there and trying to play hurt and sacrificing his body against people like that. Right. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. I wish I could include the chat a little bit more on these live streams. I just don't want to slow it down too much because we're trying to make if you guys haven't noticed, 15, 20-minute live streams. That way you guys can get in and out and we can get the content out in video form as well. But Cinema Rapture here in YouTube, that face looks familiar. This is probably somebody else. It looks like the names have changed again. Clayton, I'm led to believe from Easton Butler, he was in the building last week. Let's go. All right. That's what we want. There you go. And again, you guys do your own research. Cinema Rapture isn't saying I am 100% sure. He's just saying that's what he heard. Good stuff, man. So again, man, I think signing someone like Asante Samuel Jr. for the right price will be a good move. And the fact that if they did indeed have him in the building last week, what that tells me, guys, they probably had a late first, early second round grade on Asante Samuel Jr. Now, the problem with that is I'd have to go back and look, all right, where was Eric Stokes taken? So we had Eric Stokes. We took Eric Stokes in the first round. The consensus big board had him one player lower than Asante Samuel Jr., right? So Goody, it's 100% sure Goody had a higher grade on Stokes than Asante Samuel Jr., or else he would have taken Asante Samuel Jr. over Stokes, right? Because we took Stokes in the first round. But my guess is Goody had those flipped. He probably had Stokes and then Asante Samuel Jr. People hear that and they'll probably go, oh, God, that means Asante Samuel Jr. is horrible. No, guys, that's not how the draft works. When you draft a player, you compile as much information as you possibly can. And then if you got these guys, they're probably in the same cluster. And it's okay, what's the cluster buster? For Eric Stokes, it might have been his physical traits, right? You guys remember he's a physical freak. He's a speed demon, right? He was a man-cover corner out of Georgia, if I remember correctly. So maybe the cluster buster for them at the time was, hey, if these two guys are in the same tier, we're going to go with more athleticism over less. That could have been the case. But that's why guys slip to the 6th and 7th round, sometimes undrafted free agents like Tramon Williams, who, if I understood correctly, going to the Packer Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Players like that slide because, listen, if drafting players in the NFL draft was so easy, there would never be any misses. Your best players would just go right in order, right? One just like your Madden drafts, right? Where I know Emilio does. He gets in that franchise mode. He clicks that edit button and goes in there and looks at them ratings. I ain't stupid, Emilio. I know what you're doing. So, with that being said, it's you got to take as much information as you could possibly get on these players and try to make an educated decision on who they are. So, I think Asante Samuel Jr., if he hadn't got hurt, was an ascending player that was going to be at least a good football player, possibly a great or even higher. Now, will he be the same player after that fusion? Will he be the same player? Because that's got to be in a guy's head, right? Like, okay, I got to really be aware of this injury that I sustained. So that's an issue as well. So anyway, with that being said, we're going to wrap up, guys. Everybody, let me know in the comments, whether you're watching live, you're watching later on YouTube here in video form. Let us know in the comments what you think. Would you like to sign Asante Samuel Jr.? Is that a guy that you would be interested in? If so, let me know what price. It's easy for myself included to go, yeah, I'd like to have him. Put a price tag on it, right? For me, I think I kind of told you guys somewhere to the tune, if the medical checks out with your doctors, maybe 5 to 8 million guaranteed. Try to get a 4-year deal in there, 3-year deal in there. That way it's essentially a 3-year deal that's really a 1-year deal if you feel confident that, yes, we think he's healthy. And unfortunately, though, I think there are going to be other teams that are trying to sign him. So, yeah. With that being said, let us know in the comments what you think. Also, click subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified here in the future. Also, hit that like button, guys. Everybody in here, appreciate y'all making us a part of your morning. Again, man, so many awesome people in the chat. You guys are just great, man, that y'all jump in here on a whim and talk ball with us. And I love the energy in the chat. Everybody gets along. Everybody has a constructive conversation. And that's what we want to do here at PTA. So thank you, iRock. iRock always positive in here. Says W Stream, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We will see you guys to hold on, man. I seen Chat GPT and had to hit it. Caldwell Corner said, according to Dr. Chat GPT, based on the nature of his injury, he will return to 90 to 95% form with good rehab. Let's go. There you go. And again, right, Caldwell, listen, Carson, they wouldn't have him in the building if they didn't think there was a realistic chance of that, right? So good stuff, man. Appreciate the info. You guys are awesome. All right, we'll see you later on. We might go live again here in a few hours. We'll just see if any news drops. I'm into the tape right now. I'm making my third pass through the Carolina tape. We got Chalk Talk that we're lining up and getting ready for this evening. That'll go live at 6 p.m. Central for Chalk Talk and PTA Live. So make sure you guys crack open a cold one, jump in here. Let's watch a film together. Let's understand what happened. Why did it happen in that tough loss against Carolina? And listen, it's not going to be doom and gloom, us in here depressed. We have a good time. We just watch the tape, learn from it, and then we're on to Philly. So everybody have a wonderful day. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. We'll see you later on this evening.
Here we go. We're out. Bye, guys.